A military parade celebrating the victory over the Islamic State group took place in Baghdad's fortified green zone. Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi declared victory in the more than 3-year fight against ISIS in a national address aired on Iraqi state television. Clashes broke out on the Israeli-Gaza border during another tense day of protests since US President Donald Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Clashes have erupted in the flashpoints around the West Bank, East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip, and across the Arab and Muslim world. A flare-up on the western edge of Southern California's largest and most destructive wildfire sent residents fleeing as wind-fanned flames churned through canyons and down hillsides toward coastal towns. Crews with help from water-dropping aircraft saved several homes as unpredictable gusts sent the blaze churning deeper into foothill areas northwest of Los Angeles that haven't burned in decades. Venezuelans will choose hundreds of mayors in elections pitting candidates backed by President Nicolas Maduro during a fractured opposition still bruised by a poor showing in recent gubernatorial voting. The ballots for local leaders in 335 city halls across the oil-rich nation are the final national elections before presidential elections next year, in which Maduro is expected to run. A major fire on the western edge of Southern California's largest and most destructive wildfire has sent residents fleeing. In Ventura County, firefighters made progress on other fronts of the enormous fire that started on December 4. French President Emmanuel Macron firmly and clearly condemned all kinds of attacks against Israel in recent hours and days, following a meeting in Paris with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Macron also reaffirmed his disapproval of US President Donald Trump's move to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Netanyahu, however, called Trump's decision historic and so important for peace. The husband of detained British Iranian Nazanin Ratcliffe said he hopes to have a home within the next 10 days. British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson raised her case earlier on Sunday when he met Iranian President Hassan Rouhani during a 2-day trip to Tehran. The woman is serving a 5-year prison sentence for allegedly plotting against Iran's government.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. Obviously, we were living in fear of today, worrying about this court case and hoping that the Foreign Secretary's trip yesterday, so he'd have a good Saturday, which would mean that we'd have a good Sunday, and that's exactly what's happened. We haven't had the court case at all. It seems to have been postponed, and that can only be a good thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm much happier than I was even talking to you guys yesterday, and certainly Nazanin was a lot happier on the phone. So I spoke to her this morning. Yeah, she was relieved, is probably the word I'd use best. Obviously it had been hanging over as a shadow, and like the quote that you read out, she said, it feels like that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
The leader of the Italian right-wing party addressed hundreds of supporters in Rome at a demonstration against a government-proposed reform to citizenship procedures for descendants of immigrants living in Italy. Northern League leader Matteo Salvini hopes growing anger over the number of migrants in Italy will help his party become a national power. A ferry with more than 300 people on board ran aground, interrupting boat traffic across the English Channel. The Pride of Kent hit a pebble bank around noon local time because of strong winds. No injuries were reported after the incident.